7 super simple things you need as a painter. I'm not going to talk about fancy gear, but just about very basic things and useful tricks that will save you so much time and effort on a regular basis. Number 1, masking tape. We all know and love masking tape. It's such an amazing and useful thing, but can we realize in just how many ways it can be useful? Sure, it can be used the normal way to tape things, but that's only a fraction of what it can do. It can be used to paint super straight lines, as sharp as can be, and don't worry, you won't damage your surface as long as it's touch dry. Masking tape is not super sticky, so it removes easily and leaves the surface intact. Just make sure that it's completely touch dry. If you paint on painting paper, masking tape can keep the edges clean and straight. It can also be used to remove dust particles from a touch-dry surface. When the dirt is stuck really deep in the paint, it is sometimes hard to remove by just blowing on it or cleaning it with clean brushes. And in that case, a little piece of masking tape can lift off the dirt easily. It can protect an area that you want to preserve if you are using messy techniques like splashings and projections. Masking tape is also great to improvise stick pads that will hold your canvas in place. If you're tired of your canvas sliding around, just roll a piece of masking tape with the sticky side out and make a small sticky ball. Stick this under the top of your canvas and the head of your easel, and there you go, it won't move anymore. It's great to stick on the floor to remember your position or the position of a model. It's also a cheap way to label your containers because you can write on it. I mean, is there any problem in the world that masking tape can't solve? Number 2, canvas pliers. Canvas pliers are great if you want to stretch your canvas from scratch, which can be a great option to save money on the long run and get that perfect stretch that you desire. If you have super strong hands, or if you don't plan on stretching your own canvases, you might think that they're not that useful, but wait, they can actually make great clamps that can be used to squeeze every ounce of paint left in what appears to be an empty paint tube. Make sure to use some type of protection, maybe masking tape, to avoid leaving paint residues on your pliers, or it will leave traces when you stretch your next canvas. Over time, the amount saved on all the pre-stretched canvases and all the leftover paint can really add up and make this a worthwhile investment. Canvas pliers are not that expensive anyways, so it's definitely something you need. Number 3, glass palettes. Alright, this is a no-brainer. I'm sure there's a coffee table with a glass top that someone is trying to throw away somewhere. I, for example, found this piece of glass in an IKEA cabinet. If you can't find any glass surface, your local hardware store sells them for sure. A glass palette is just super easy to clean. You don't have to hold it in your hand all day, which is frankly exhausting and greatly restricts your movements. Plus, you can put any color underneath. This way you can use your preferred background tone or adjust your palette to fit the underpainting of your current project. Most of the time I use a neutral gray, as it is the best option for most purposes. It's exactly 50% gray, not too white and not too black, and of course not any hue in particular, so it makes color checking easier. Number 4, dropper bottles. You know these dropper bottles of hand gel or lotion? You can keep them when they're empty, clean them up and fill them with your painting medium. They can also be bought online or in a pharmacy. Using those droppers will allow you to pour medium drop by drop in very small amounts. It doesn't open wide and closes easily with one hand. Pouring medium drop by drop is much more effective than pouring it all at once. It will prevent you from using too much in one go and starting all over again. Plus, it's much safer overall because it reduces the quantities of solvents you use, and since it can be shut so easily, you rarely forget to close it down. You can get multiple bottles and mix various mediums and keep things tidy and organized. Finally, for even more safety, you can find bottles with child-proof tops. No need to pour huge quantities of medium in a giant bowl ever again. You can simply get some of those and drastically reduce the amounts of medium you use in your studio. Number 5, mirror. I'm obsessed with mirrors. I have at least 5 in my studio. Mirrors are great to force your brain to reconsider everything and see your work from a new angle, an inverted angle. After staring at your painting, the same painting for so long, things start to get distorted. You become used to the errors that you've made, and your brain starts to accommodate your vision around them so that they become sort of normal. The problem is if you want to fix those errors, it's hard to spot them after a while because you're so used to them. You know this feeling? You know for certain that there is something wrong, but you can't seem to put your finger on it. Looking in a mirror can really help. All of a sudden, your brain is out of its comfort zone, and it's almost like seeing the painting for the very first time. You can immediately spot the problems and make the corrections. A mirror makes your painting look strange, and that's exactly what we're looking for. When you can look in your mirror and the painting doesn't seem strange anymore, it's generally a sign that you're done and you have nothing left to fix. In my studio, I have a big mirror in my back, and my estimation is that I look at it at least 50 times every day, even more when the painting is very tricky. Another very weird thing I do is that I tilt my head to get an even stranger angle. I have another mirror at a different angle just in case, and also have small mirrors that I can hold in my hands. There are many ways to use them: under your eyes, over your eyes, sideways, etc. Mirrors are super useful. You need to get your hands on every last one of them and put them everywhere in your studio. Number 6, a Mahlstick. A Mahlstick is simply a stick used to avoid resting your hand in the wet paint. The great thing about it is that it's super easy to do yourself with a simple stick. The traditional design has a little ball of leather at the tip and can only be rested on touch dry paint or unpainted areas. Some people use canes, which is very smart as it can be hooked on top of the stretcher bar. I like to have mine with a hook shape that can be suspended on top, but I don't use a cane. I simply screw a little metallic piece on top and I shape this with masking tape to make this sort of shape. See, I told you that masking tape is good for everything. Number 7, an airtight glass jar. Final thing, an airtight glass jar with a silicone or latex sleeve. You can find this type of container in the kitchen section of your supermarket. It's used to store food, but in our case, we're going to use it to store our solvent. Either odorless mineral spirits or turpentine, whatever you prefer. I personally use odorless mineral spirits with a piece of plastic filter. This way I can press my dirty brushes against this filter. It takes the paint out of the brush and allows the dirty pigments to settle at the bottom. It keeps the solvent clean and usable for a long time, and the best thing is that you can recycle it over and over again and never have to throw it away. You should never, by the way, pour it down the drain, and here's what you can do instead. Thanks to this airtight container, after a while you can take this outside, use latex gloves and carefully take the clean solvent temporarily in a different container. Then simply remove the dirty pigment mud and take this to the appropriate waste disposal facility, and that's it. Fill it back up with the clean solvent and keep recycling. Alright, that's going to be it for this short video. If you liked it, remember to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to support the channel. Again, a huge thank you to all my Patreon members. This video wouldn't be possible without your support. If you want to join the community, you'll find a link in the description below. You'll also find the link to both my courses, my oil painting course and my color course. Alright, that's going to be it for today. As always guys, joy and inspiration to you. Bye.